It's a big day in U.S. politics. Voters in 14 states, including Minnesota, cast ballots on Super Tuesday. It could be one of the most pivotal days of the Democratic presidential nominating process so far. Eric Nelson is reporting on voter turnout today. He's live now in Plymouth. Hi, Eric.
Hey, Shannon, the last time Minnesota conducted a presidential primary was 1992. Or to put that into perspective, that's the same year the Mall of America opened. Now, 28 years later, the primary is back. And here in Plymouth, a steady stream of voters showed up to cast their vote today. Super Tuesday could be a pivot point in the 2020 election.
Very, very, very important.
With primaries in 14 states, including Minnesota, the stakes are high, and the gravity of today's outcome will be gigantic.
I think it's pretty big. It probably decide which way our country's going to be going in the future.
It's huge. I mean, it shapes our country. It shapes what we're going to do, what we're looking forward to, and who are our people, and who our future leaders are. So yeah, I feel it's highly important.
Historically, the voter turnout rate in the North Star state is high. That seemed to be the case today, as people were eager to make their vote count.
People can talk all they want, and it's great. I mean, we're afforded that right. People need to also put that to good use and make it count for more than just words,
For a primary, this one is the same, if not maybe a little bit busier than other primaries.
For most voters, a primary requires less involvement than a caucus and allows more people to be part of the process.
I love the caucus. That was fun, but not everybody could go spend 2 or 3 hours on a Tuesday night talking politics, and it left a lot of people out. So this is more equitable. You got all day.
Now, if you're a voter who cast an absentee ballot and selected somebody like Amy Klobuchar or somebody else who dropped out of the race, well, you're out of luck. Your vote cannot be changed. In Plymouth, I'm Eric Nelson for CCX News. Now back to Shannon.
All right, thank you, Eric. Minnesota might not be participating in Super Tuesday at all if a local senator hadn't first pushed for a change.
It came about because of the chaos that both the Republicans and the Democrats experienced in 2016, with people trying to get to precinct caucuses, to cast a paper ballot on a Post-it note sometimes.
Senator Ann Rest authored the bill that changed Minnesota from a caucus to a primary system. She's also trying to get a bill passed which would keep voter party affiliations private. That is having less success.
There are more Republicans supporting my bill as authors than Democrats, and it just mystifies me why my bill can't get a hearing.
Rest says she is hopeful the lack of voter privacy in this primary won't keep too many people at home, as the caucus system wasn't private either. Plymouth police found a body Monday morning, and they do not suspect foul play. Police got a call just after 5 a.m. Monday that someone was down and not moving in the area of 53rd and Annapolis Lane North. When officers arrived, they found a deceased man. Plymouth police say there's no risk to the public, and as of this newscast, the victim's identity has not been released. The Maple Grove City Council approved a new development that will add more than 100 homes to an area that is still relatively rural. Neighbors have petitioned against the Elm Road project, which would build 106 single-family homes on the 60 acres north and south of Elm Road between Lawndale and Vicksburg Lanes. Neighbors are mainly concerned with the plan to remove about 50% of the trees and the impact the development may have on water quality.
As neighbors, we want to preserve it. There's not one person who said it's a bad area. They love it when they drive out there. Let's do something good with this. Let's preserve it.
I know the first time that I ever drove down that road, I was stunned. I didn't even know that it existed. It's so beautiful. So I really understand the emotional response.
The developer did make changes to the proposal, and that included adding at least 300 new trees throughout the property. Ultimately, the council did approve the project. The official start of spring is just a few short weeks away, and as we get closer to March 19th, a local greenhouse is preparing to fill stores with a flower that will remind everyone of the new season. Here's Delane Cleveland.
At Busch Roses in Plymouth, staff members are always preparing for the next big holiday. And in Minnesota, the end of winter may not be a holiday, but it's always cause for celebration.
I think tulips are just real popular this time of the year because we're into the waning months of winter right now, and people are just clamoring to get outside into their yard.
Jake Zebarth works in sales for Busch Roses, which is a wholesaler and grower that provides flowers to stores across the 5-state area. In the coming months, there's one particular flower that will occupy much of their time.
There's actually about 1 million tulips in these greenhouses right now. We annually will cut over 5 million tulips from the end of December to the beginning of May, right up to Mother's Day.
Busch Roses grows about a dozen different varieties of tulips in 8 different colors. Make no mistake, it's a flower that's synonymous with spring.
I think tulips are unique to people because you really only have them a certain time of the year and then they're finished.
Tulips make up 15% of the company's business. They start off as bulbs stored in a cooler, and eventually they make their way into the greenhouse, where they become the beautiful plants we all know and love.
It's an everyday sale, everyday shipment out of here to our retail outlets.
If you happen to buy or receive one of these colorful flowers, they should last about 7 to 10 days.
And this is the one kind of thing that gives you that breath of fresh air of spring.
In Plymouth, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
And if you want to learn more about tulips and how to care for them, we've got a few tips on our website. Check it out, ccxmedia.org.
Section championships are on the line this week in girls basketball. The Section 6 4A final pits Wayzata against undefeated and top-ranked Hopkins. After 2 regular season losses to the Royals, the Trojans are gearing up to win the game that matters most. Here's Jason Malillo.
Wayzata coaches gathered together their charges before practice on Monday to assess the mood of the team as the section championship approaches.
We're feeling pretty good. The girls are they're engaged, they're confident, they're inspired. They look at it as a privilege and an opportunity to play in a game of this magnitude.
Hopkins is a very talented and deep team, and senior guard Paige Beckers is arguably the best high school player in the country, so the challenge for Wayzata is immense. Still, the Trojans are done with listening to anyone who says they don't have a chance to be section champions.
It should anger us that people are asking us, like, hey, do you even think you have a chance? We know we have a chance, and at this point we should take it to heart that people are even questioning if we can win, because we know we can.
Wayzata is also motivated to play for Jenna Johnson. The junior forward was the Trojans' leading scorer before going down with a season-ending injury.
I just remember it so clearly. We all looked at each other, and without even saying anything, we knew that we were playing the rest of the season for Jenna. Like, you could just see the fire in our eyes, and we knew that from there on we had to do it together, and we knew Jenna was still a huge part of our team, and that made us want it even more.
I think a lot of the team wanted to step up and kind of want to do it for Jenna, win the games for Jenna, you know, play these big games like the Hopkins game that we have on Thursday for Jenna. I know I had a huge role coming in or starting for the game, and I know I had to step up my rebounds because Jenna is a huge factor in rebounds and scoring, so I know I had to step up some part of my game to make up for what Jenna does.
In a do-or-die situation, anything can happen. When the ball goes up on Thursday night, the Trojans are aiming to be doers. Jason Malillo, CCX Sports.
The Section 6 4A final is set for 7 o'clock on Thursday night at the Lindbergh Center at Hopkins High School. Hopkins has won the section in each of the past 5 seasons. Wayzata is seeking its first section title since 2010 and second ever. In Section 5 4A, top seed Park Center meets Centennial for the section title. That game is also Thursday night at 7 o'clock on a neutral court at Anoka High School. The Pirates lost to the Cougars on a buzzer beater in the regular season. Park Center is looking to return to state for the first time since 2017. And the Section 8 4A title is also up for grabs Thursday night at second seed Maple Grove takes on top seed St. Michael Albertville. Maple Grove is hoping that this will be the 3rd straight season that they lost to the Knights during the regular season and then beat them in the section final. The boys basketball playoffs get started this week. Maple Grove is the top seed and defending champion in Section 8 4A. On this week's Sports Jam show on CCX, Jay Wilcox profiles Crimson guard Lavelle Williams. Here's part of what you'll see.
Williams fills the stat sheet. Here's Williams attacking and scores the layup. He tops the Crimson in scoring at 16 points per game, but also leads in assists and rebounds, averaging 5 per game of each. Not that numbers matter much to him.
I don't pay a lot of attention to the stats, though. It's about the wins, you know? Like, if we can make another run to state for our 5th year in a row and end my senior season, that'd be one of the biggest accomplishments.
He's a really good floor general, you know, someone that can lead us on the court verbally and through the actions, gets all of us open looks, gets himself open looks, and we just kind of, we play like through him.
The one that I like the most, you don't stat, is he's our kind of our emotional leader. You know, there's guys who suck energy out of a gym, and there's guys who provide energy to the gym. He is definitely a guy that provides energy, and even when I'm down or sitting in the office, he'll come in the locker room hooting and hollering, ready to go, and he does it every day.
See the rest of that story and much more on Sports Jam. It's on through Wednesday at 3:30, 6:30, and 9:30 p.m. on CCX1 and online at ccxmedia.org.